Yes, welcome to Wisdom Talks. I'm Joe Wisdom. Today is a wonderful day, a wonderful moment to come to you again, bringing you wisdom for life, wisdom for progress. And it's always a pleasure, bringing phronesis. We said we call it phronesis, practical wisdom. And when we talk about practical wisdom, last time we looked at, giving yourself a second chance. Giving yourself a second chance, because we said that many people are not able to give themselves a second chance. Many times you give others second chances, many you'll forgive others, but forgiving yourself, maybe on an investment that went wrong, or on on some money that you lost somewhere, and you live in that fear, you live an intimidated life. You feel a life of you live a life of regrets just because you cannot forgive yourself. We said it is possible. It is possible to move forward. It is possible to forgive yourself and begin a new journey. And today we want to handle something that we are calling, the art of bouncing back. Now, after you have forgiven yourself, now how do you bounce back? How do you bounce back? And I want to give you some few points that you just direct you on some of the things that you need to do even after you have gone down. I want you to know that anybody can get down. Anybody can falling is for everyone. If anybody can fail, there are no specific people who are cut out to fail. No, many times even the greatest men, the greatest of men, the great philosophers, the movers and the shakers of the economies of the world were people who had failed at some point. The problem is not failing. The problem is remaining where you have fallen. So you can still pick up your pieces and begin a fresh journey. You begin afresh. So we want to say that when we talk about the art of bouncing back, we are trying to say, we are saying that you can still do it again. You can still get back on your feet and begin to do some things that can shake economies, some things that can shake systems, some things that can shape destinies. You can still do something. Number one, in the process of bouncing back, number one, we say that you have to accept. You have to accept that you have gone down. You have to accept that you are bankrupt. You have to accept that you are broke. You have to accept that you have failed. When you accept, it basically tells you that you are a human being. You are not a Superman. No, it's only a Superman that we know he never fails. You look like you are the Stalin in the play of life. And one of the things that stands out for Stalins, even in movies, is that they never die. It doesn't matter how beaten you are. It doesn't matter how hard you have fallen. The hope that is there is that you are the Stalin. You can still bounce back. When I was a little child, I used to love wrestling. And sometimes I could stick to my guy, regardless of how much he's being beaten, or even if he looked like he's losing. I knew at some point that this guy will bounce back. And this is basically life. Life is about falling and rising. Great economies are economies that had failed in the beginning. We are even, as a nation, we are even going through an economic recession. The world has gone through an economic recession, but that does not mean that they remain there. There's always that time where they bounce back. So accepting is one point that will help you to know now where do you move from there when you accept. And let me tell you, you don't need to have done something to go down. Sometimes you keep blaming yourself. You keep looking down on yourself, thinking that you are not good enough. I want you to go and study the book of Genesis 26. And you realize that the man called Abraham was a rich man. And at some point before he exited, he left a lot of wealth to Isaac. But in Genesis 26, you realize, actually the Bible says that Abraham was the richest man in his time. But at some point, even after leaving an inheritance to his son Isaac, he got to a place where Isaac was broke. The Bible says that there was famine, and Isaac could not get anything for his flock. So he had to go looking for. And that is when now the Bible says that, and Isaac sowed in the land. You even remember Isaac going down to look for food, where he was even cheating the king that, that Rebecca is his sister, because the man was down. But there was always a comeback when you study the story of Isaac. The Bible says that in that year, in the same year that there was famine, Isaac sowed in the land, and in the same year he harvested 100-fold. That is a great comeback. And I want you to know that you are coming back. You are coming back. Don't just look down on yourself because you have gone down. Going down is for men who are just about to rise up. So don't feel intimidated when you see other people doing well. They are also where you are. We usually say that there are we are in 3 levels of life. Number 1, there are people who are in trouble already. And if you are not in trouble, then you are just about to get into trouble. And if you are not just about to get into trouble, then you are just coming out of a trouble. So you will never escape those 3 areas or those 3 phases in life. You are either out of trouble, in trouble, or preparing to get into trouble. So failing does not make you a failure. Failing just gives you an opportunity to start again. So after you accept, accepting helps you not get stuck into your past. It helps you diagnose what the problem is and how you got where you are. Because you cannot solve problems. You cannot solve a problem with the same mindset that landed you into that problem. So point number 2, you have to change your mind. You have to reshape, you have to re-strategize, you have to think of new ways. You have to think of a new way of going about that situation. That becomes very important to you. After changing your mindset now tells you that it is possible. You have to embrace a mentality that tells you that this thing will work. I was not meant to be where I am. I can be a better person. I can still begin that business. I can still go back to that business. I can still go back to employment. I can still get a good job. Maybe you are sacked and you feel like you are not employable anymore. There is somebody who is looking for someone who has exactly the skills that you have, or the exposure that you have, and the qualifications that you have. So you must change your mind. You must have a mindset that embraces possibilities. Then number 3, you have to weigh the options that you have. What options do you have? What options do you have? The options that you have possibly is either to remain where you are, to keep fighting, or to quit. And allow me at this juncture to debunk a saying that we have we have applied as a matter of principle for a long time, that winners are losers who never quit. I want to tell you that there are some exemptions. You know the law of gravity by, is it Isaac Newton? The law of gravity. At some point, somebody had to override it. The law of aerodynamics, how an airplane goes up. So these things are there, and you can challenge them. So when we say that winners are losers who never quit, some winners had to quit at some point. Because you don't need to die in a situation that is not serving for your best interest. Sometimes you just need to quit. I know there's someone right there watching me right now, and you are dying in a relationship, and that relationship is not going anywhere. In your knower, inside you know this thing, I've tried to make peace, I've tried my best, I've tried to pay the price, nothing is working. Sometimes you just need to quit. Continuous fighting will only make you a perpetual victim. It will only make you a perpetual victim. A victim of life. Some winners had to quit at some point. Maybe you are a business person. You keep pumping money into that business. And it was not even your original idea, by the way. It was an idea that your friend shared to you. Or you went visiting your friend and you found they were doing very well. And you are dying in that business. You have sold your car, you have sold your land, you have sold your properties just trying to pump money in that business. Sometimes you need to rethink and quit and begin to ask yourself, what next? Where else? What else can I do? Hello? That tells you that sometimes you can quit. You can change strategy. You can rethink of new ways of doing things. Then finally, you have to face it. After weighing the options, you have now to confront. You have now to face what is facing you. And I've said here before that the life and the destiny of a man is defined by when he chose to face what is facing him. David at some point had to face Goliath, of which his brothers and the whole army of Saul was not ready to confront. You have sometimes face, you have sometimes, you have to find yourself at some point being confronted by a challenge that a commoner cannot face. When you face what a commoner cannot face, you become outstanding. And there's a great word awaiting. Bouncing back is your portion. You are coming back. Lastly, let me help you. There's a difference between being broke and being poor. If your business went down, if your marriage never worked, if your relationships are not working, I want you to know that there's always a comeback. Learn the lessons that you are supposed to learn. You can lose so many things, but don't lose the lessons. There's always a comeback. Strategize, sit down, seek people to help you out. What you are going through, someone else went through it 10 years ago. Where you want to go in the next 5 years, somebody else was there 5 years ago. So there's always someone who have gone ahead of you. Connect with those people, and they will set a good path for you. A path that is devoid of mistakes and blunders. We say that a wise man commits no minor blunders. Let's meet at the top. I am Joe Wisdom, and that is Wisdom Talks. God bless you.